Number 3, Peru. Peru has a special place in my story. It was actually the first Latin American country I ever visited in my life when I went down in 2009 when I was still a college student. And this was before I even started learning and spoke Spanish. This trip was really what kicked off my life of living in Latin America and what created this channel in the end. Throughout the years, I studied in Chile and returned to Peru. I came back to Latin America to visit, and I went to Peru. And now I'm going back through Peru after having lived there a couple more times in the previous decade. However, this time I'm living in Peru with the specific perspective of thinking about how is the quality of life and how is budgeting a life of less than $1,000 here. So I have spent more than 6 months living in Arequipa, and when I was in Arequipa in southern Peru, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment that was $300 a month. You can go to the regular supermarkets, but if you go to the local markets, you can find incredibly low-cost, high-quality produce, and you can eat for super cheap, which is what I did when I lived in Arequipa. I probably spent around $100 per month on lunches, and then another $100 or $200 on the extra fruit and produce that I would bring home and cook myself. A quick note about Peru is that there's much higher population than in Nicaragua, therefore you're going to be dealing with quite a bit more pollution, especially in the big cities of Lima and Arequipa, the 2 biggest cities in the country. Lima, being on the coastal area, is a bit more humid, and Arequipa, being in the mountains in an arid zone, is very dry. But you'll be experiencing a bit of pollution due to the fact that each city is very large with big industry. Therefore, be prepared to be in cities with a bit of pollution. If you have sensitive lungs, it might be difficult for you. You could look into smaller cities and smaller towns or places like the Sacred Valley that don't have this problem with pollution if you are very sensitive. According to my research, with Peru's Rentista Visa for retirees, you need to prove consistent monthly income of $1,000 per month in order to qualify, and there's no age restrictions. Just like in Nicaragua and most countries, you're not allowed to work on this visa. Arequipa is gorgeous and culturally rich, with colonial architecture and stunning landscapes. Volcanoes such as El Misti are always present there, and it seems like they're hugging you from the distance. However, I do suggest you go there to test out the air quality, the climate, and the elevation to make sure you feel comfortable at this altitude. Peru has some great pros, including the rich culture, delicious cuisine, and super affordable rents. The cons in this case could be the air pollution in the big cities if you're living there, and the fact that perhaps getting some documentation done can take a while. Number 2, Colombia. I've lived for more than 2 years in Colombia,